I don't know why that was, but
I thought it's also kind of.
I don't know, like a bit.
Yeah, but I wanted to.
I'm worried they kind of like
It's not like any kind of.
I think it's.
I feel a bit awkward, not with you, but just the idea of talking about this concept. And I hadn't before, but now I'm like, ugh. You know?
I feel a little bit jittery.
I felt nervous in the extent I've never really talked about this before, like, I suppose formally. I've had many conversations like this informally, where people will bring it up.
Yeah, it's a lot of turmoil.
I don't know, like a bit apprehensive, I guess, but like excited. But it's like, what do you want from me?
I'd say for a 28-year-old, I'd imagine the average is probably like at least in the teens, at least. Maybe nearing 20-ish, I would say.
20 to 30, I want to say? Yeah, 20 to 30, maybe 25, let's say. That feels too high now.
My guess is maybe I'll stay between 7 and 10.
20.
I really want to know what the answer is. Are those stats out there? Do they exist?
I think the average is between 15 to 20.
45 maybe for women, and then I'm gonna say 60 for men.
There's definitely some people bringing it down though. I'm gonna say 9. Nice square number.
The first thing that comes to my brain when I hear the word body count now is fun being single. I think if you had asked me the same question 5 years ago, before I had a body count, I was like, anyone that had a really high body count in their like early 20s, I was like, oh my god, they're like, I'll be honest, I was like, there's some, but I was naive, I was quite a judgmental teenager, coming from like a really rural town where I was just surrounded by like narrow-minded people that, because of my proximity, was also very narrow-minded.
like when I'm with my friends, like my body count is one of my favorite things to talk about, which is like, it sounds again like conceited, but like what I do best is like connect with people, and I think that's like wonderful. And then also there can just be very funny stories.
When I hear the words body count, I immediately think of horror films. I think of Freddy Krueger and his body count in the films. But when I'm talking with other people, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about each other's sexual partners and stuff. thinking to myself, why are those two things the same? Because it almost sounds like something you should be guilty of. Like it's a crime. But it isn't. Body count. It's a loaded term.
Body count. It's a funny term as well, I think. Like, you know, it's like a military term or something, like something you'd use in the army. It's very aggressive. I feel like a man definitely came up with it. It's that a woman didn't come up with that body count. You know, it's like one person gets through them onto the next. It's very removed from. Like, it's not loving, is it? It's very removed from the act of being intimate with someone's body count. I'm going to kill this person. Like, it's very aggressive, really. Thinking about it, God. It's very aggressive. I feel like a man definitely came up with it. Is that a woman who came up with that body count? You know, it's like one person gets through onto the next. It's very removed from. It's not loving, is it? It's very removed from the act of being intimate with someone's body count. I'm going to kill this person. It's very aggressive, really. Thinking about it, God. You know, and again, probably goes back to that idea of like conquering a woman. You know, conquering somebody.
Generally promiscuous, of course, but for a man, it's not generally deemed as a bad thing. I feel, or in my experience, it's kind of more of a fair play to him. He is Jesus. He's flat out, you know. It's a wrong, like. I don't necessarily feel that myself. I'm kind of like, okay, whatever, you know. But I do get that vibe, I guess, that it's a win. It's a, you know, higher number equals better.
I think of that horrible phrase, lock and key. If a key opens many doors, it has more values, but a lock that's been used too many times has less value. And I hate that that's where my mind goes when I think of the word body count.
I think for men sometimes it's like not wanting to be with somebody who slept with loads of people because, you know, it's someone's seen as undesirable almost. And I have felt that before, not wanting my partner to have slept with loads of people.
It depends what you're after, I guess. And even just saying that just feels like it's almost commodified in a way. I hear it spoken of as like someone buying a car and it's like mileage in a car. That's high mileage. That's not a good thing. There's problems there. Woman with a low body count can go one of two ways. It can be seen as either in a pure sense, like that kind of way, or in a like there's something wrong with her. Why this is, it's like, again, it goes back to like the ownership of a car. It's like the car's low miles. Why is it low miles? What's wrong with it? Because it's not able to go, like, you know.
I hate that like women are always analogies, and why is there so many beautiful like symbolisms for such shitty behaviour?
I have a list. It's of everyone I've ever slept with. There's no names, just numbers. I think if I had names, I would just see faces, whereas this gives it a little something more. I'll give you an example. One sheet, no duvet. It was terrible.
Oh, we had baby wipes. It was ridiculous. One sheet, no duvet, January. It was terrible. Number 15 is We Rock the Boat. And that was like my ex who we met rocking the boat, which was nice. Oh, there's one at 28, Dirty Talk was a list. Yeah, there's one for 42, I still have a poster of your naked body on my wall, which still remains true. There's one that's, by your definition, you shouldn't be on that list, but I don't have a heteronormative view on sex. That was a guy who went on a date and he was like, look, I don't want to have sex, and then kept on kind of like making moves that suggested that he did want to have what my idea of sex was, and I was like, here, what's the story? Do you want to have sex? And he's like, no, he said that. I was like, okay, I was just like checking because, you know, I don't know if things were moving. I was like, do you want to have, like, get head? And he was like, yes. I was like, okay, well, that's sex for me. But anyway, so he gets on the list, even if I wouldn't be on his list. And I don't think I've fully done the erasing of the previous bodies in terms of, you know, alleyways and toilets, and I'm also like, I don't want that removed from my list, you know? It's like, I'm an exciting woman. I was like, I'm not on sex and toilets anymore, but look, once I did. And what a wild girl she was.
I think there's something uniquely American about body count as a phrase, that it was co-opted in the Vietnam War and that it's been changed to mean something else, because I think it's a really dangerous question to ask someone. Because everything is so subjective, it's very easy when it comes to answering what's your body count for every answer to be wrong.
I think the words we use absolutely affect how we treat each other. Like, one word means a lot. When we say things like we screwed, we fucked, we did all that, it's a bad word. There's an element of violence or something about that. Even like the scientific terms, like penetrative sex. You think of like stabbing or something, you think of gunshots or something. It just sounds harmful, it sounds dangerous. And I think how we speak about people, like girls when they're younger, when they're spoken about as like sluts, they're treated differently sexually. Like, you hear the stories, their words are how we explain the world. If you explain it in a certain way, that's reality then, you know.
When you name something in a way, you make it real. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people who probably think roughness is a sort of inherent quality when people talk about sex, and like, I imagine guys thinking they have to be far more dominant than they want to be. Like, they wish they could be loving, but they feel like women don't want that. Women want to be fucked, women want to be screwed, women want to be nailed. And then on the flip side, a woman who's heard that her whole life, like, oh, I nailed her, I screwed her, and they don't enjoy it, and they're like, oh, but this is what it is. In the end, nobody's having the sex they want to. They might be consenting parties, but it's not fun. It's sad, really. But I think when people frame the act of having sex in military terms, like when I think of body count, I think of like crime. Language makes reality. It's how you're going to approach sex. And even if it is not indicative of how you would personally like to enjoy having sex.
I think I've also been in instances where I felt like sexually aggressed, where I've been bitten from the time but I didn't want to be bitten, kind of beaten in a sexual context, like a slap. And I remember feeling very disassociated, and I don't think that kind of violence within a sexual context would exist. That sort of language that's being perpetrated
I think there's something so spiritually American about body count, the concept of turning sex to a metaphor for violence.
Why can't we talk about like who we slept with each other in an open way that is non-judgmental and supportive? I think there's ways about having every type of conversation about those most sensitive subjects, and it depends on how you put it out there.
I like that all these people have made up who I am. My little notes app list, like I see it as a yearbook. I'm very much a sentimental person, which I don't think people see a body count as sentimental. But I think that's why it's like, it's not just numbers, it's experiences and like memories and associations.
I mean, I didn't think you were going to ask me how many people I had slept with, but even thinking about that, I do kind of feel it. Going back to what we were saying at the start about, you know, your connection with your body, I kind of feel it in my body, an expectation of being asked that question. But yeah, it's just interesting that you didn't ask that question. It's interesting that you didn't ask that.